The altar of Augustan peace is really a memorial to the Pax Romana. In other words, this great peace that we see under Augustus, really starting under him, and we see it 2 centuries of very prosperous times. We tend to think of it as a period of time where there are no wars. In Rome, that's not actually the case, but they're all wars of conquest. They don't have any invasions, no one's attacking them. They are at the utmost of their power. The emperor will commission a lot of public works at the time: roads, bridges, theaters, amphitheaters, bathing complexes, and other pieces. This is very common. It is propaganda. They are trying to basically show the people that they're thinking of the people. The people tend to credit the emperor with building these things, although he basically just says, hey, go build this. And he's not paying for it. He's not creating it. He's not out there laying a stone. But he does get the credit. And this becomes a great tradition in Rome, amongst other things that we see from the emperors. The altar of Augustan peace is a celebration of this period of peace and prosperity. Remember, the Romans had just been through the civil war with Marcialanus and Sulla. Then we have the problems around the first triumvirate, and then we have the issues of Caesar, and then we have the civil war around the second triumvirate. And after 150 years or more of pretty much constant civil conflict in Rome, the stability that Augustus is bringing is going to be really important. They're going to play it up. And so that's what we're seeing here. So what you're looking at is dedicated in the 9th century. It's an altar. It's very similar to the altar of Pergamon. So we have a cella. The high priest would go in, offer the sacrifices on behalf of the empire. The high priest would oftentimes be the emperor. He could play high priest as one of his various roles. And it's dedicated in about 9 BCE. Very simple plan, but heavily sculpted on the outside, and the whole thing would have been painted. One of the images that we see in relief on the outside, these are influenced by the Greeks, is going to be these figural images, one being a female personification, a personification of Rome, and we believe that is the goddess Tellus, sort of a Mother Earth goddess representing Rome, representing prosperity for the Roman people. In other places, we see Aeneas or Romulus and Remus. Aeneas kind of connecting the Romans back to the ancient Trojans. Other places on the south and north wall, we see processions of the imperial family and other dignitaries. This is a specific event, and it actually plays a pretty important role, because what we see is the emperor processing, but then we see the family, the imperial family, and what he does or is trying to do in this case, and it doesn't work, but we see his wife, daughter, grandchildren. This is a sense of basically laying out who's going to take over after he dies. And so we see specific order to the children in terms of who should take over. And these ideas change. The grandchildren will die off. Many of them will die off. The children will die off for various reasons. And we end up with Tiberius at the end of the day. But what we're seeing is this idea of who needs to come next. When you're emperor, that's something you need to think about. In a republic, it's a vote, right? Someone has to choose the councils. That would be the Senate. In this case, the Senate has to choose who's going to take over, but you're dead, so you have no real voice. So this is a way of basically putting the people or getting the people behind a specific person who's going to take over for you after you die, hoping that that will pressure the Senate to make the right decision. That's why these royal processions are often depicted.